Today is gonna be a good day. We got a big project we're starting today out here before the frost sets in, before the snow flies. And what we're got up against us today is we are going to move this yard light. The original goal with this project is to update and replace the yard light pole. It's an old 4x6 and who knows how old it is, but the bottom of it is getting rotten. It's getting really flimsy and it's just time to replace the pole. Our goal is to pull out the yard light from here and move it over there. Another part of this project is on our driveway around the blacktop, we have Christmas lights on the trees. In the past, I had this extension cord, you can see it hanging here. I actually had it suspended in the air from the top of the tree to the top of the yard light pole. We can't do that anymore. So my goal is to also bury a line from where the new yard light pole is over there in the ground and put a post with an outlet over here by this tree so we can still plug in those Christmas lights. All right, the first thing we got to do is remove the electrical from this outlet here. Basically the electrical comes from the house up into here in this outlet and then goes up to the yard light. And I need to get the wires off. The power is already shut off, so I can start working on this right away and get everything taken care of. Now that I'm not a professional electrician, just kind of know my way around it a bunch, so this is just how I'm going to do it. Power's already off, so it should be good to go. So my goal is to preserve the yard light, the actual light that's on the pole. And to do that, my idea is I took the forks off the attachment here. I don't even know what you call this base plate or headache rack or something or another. I took the forks off and I want to basically strap this pole to the fork plate and then pull it out of the ground and nicely set down the pole so that I can preserve the yard light. So attach it on the bottom like so, and I'll attach it on the top and hope that it pulls out nicely. There we go. Old yard light pole, 4x6. New yard light pole, old retired telephone pole. That worked really slick. Be able to strap the pole right to the pallet forks backing plate. I'm gonna do the same thing with this big one as well. Now they used square screws here, and I don't know, I think the 3/4 will work. So I got one of these things. I've never used it before. Let's see if it works. It's got little beads in there. Haha, look at that. Fits anything. All right, yard light off. All right, so this has got to go right here, like so, somewhere in here. What do you think, Luca? What do you think? Doesn't she realize she's ruining my production here? Question for professionals: do you need to put primer on PVC conduit? As I mentioned, I'm not a professional, not an expert, don't really know what I'm doing, although I kind of do. But I don't know. Do you really need to put the primer? I did it. Conduit there in. I'll put some straps on it. I've really become a big fan of these GRK cabinet screws, 8 by 1.5. Got the big fat heads on them. They're only number 8s, but they really work well for things like this. They're exterior rated, work really well. Yeah, so I've got 12.3 here. I've just had it from our leftover kitchen project, so it doesn't really matter if I'm using it or not. I'm not gonna use the red wire, I'll just cut it off. Don't need that, slide it in. And then we can attach the black and the white. Hit it our first time, look at that. There, sealed in. We'll put a little caulk on the top here and keep any water from getting in there. And then we can hang this baby. Well, actually, next I gotta dig the hole. That's the crappy part. All right, now we gotta work to dig the trench all the way across, and then also dig a trench to be able to connect into that wire where the old post was. I've got the conduit in. I still gotta put a piece of conduit in down here, but I wanna get the wire in. That's gonna be junction boxes to do work, up to switch and outlet, and then wire goes up to the light. So, take the tractor and see if I can't dig about a 12 to 16 inch trench all the way across. It's all sand, so it should be okay, so we'll see. Well, the Kioti did it again. We got our trench built over here. We're gonna put the post in the ground here for an outlet for these Christmas lights on the tree. And this trench is 16 to 24 inches deep, all the way across to the yard light. And then we're gonna get power for the yard light for now from this wire here, which goes into the house. And I've got some waterproof connections, I'll bury them here. And then we'll just abandon the wire next year once I bury the new wire from the garage over to the yard light. So we're gonna put in some wire, get this trench filled back in, get this sealed up, and then we can finish the connections on the end. I've got the wire buried. I started actually burying it, you saw that. Just put a little bit of sand on top. On this end, I ended up having to use that 12.3 that I had. It's residential Romex, not supposed to be buried, but I did, just because it's only gonna be used for 8 months. And then when I get back in here next spring, we'll cut it off and abandon it in the ground. But it comes up into this junction box. I need this junction box for next year's plans. We'll see that in a future video. But essentially the power's coming in through the yellow, and then it's gonna get split off here, go over to the outlet on the other side where the Christmas lights are, and then also go up through that 12.3 in that switch box slash double, it's a double gang box there. There's gonna be an outlet and a switch there to run the yard light. And then over here on this side of the trench, well, this is where it's connected. I did my best to waterproof, I used waterproof connections to bring it together underneath that dirt. And then over here gets kind of rooty and got the 12.3 terminated here. I'm gonna put in a 4x4 and a little outlet only about a foot off the ground so that we can connect the Christmas lights to it. Well, I would venture to say that that worked. If it backfilled, this is a trencher, a forklift, a backfiller, a compactor. It's a full bag of tricks, this Kioti. Before it gets too dark, I need to get some wiring done here. So I'm gonna do this without off camera. I need to get the hot wire connected to up there and to get a outlet and a switch installed. So I'm gonna do that quick before it gets too dark, and then we gotta go to dinner. So stay tuned. We'll pick back up after I get that done. Next day or two, I gotta finish that outlet on that side as well. So stay tuned. Well, it's been a couple days. You see, we got some fresh snow last night, the fresh 3.2 inches. It's supposed to be in the mid 40s today, so it'll melt for the most part. But I gotta finish up this outlet over here by the Christmas trees, I gotta finish up the outlet over here by the trees that we have Christmas lights on. Got my 4x4 post. Got to attach an outlet on this side, run some conduit down, and then come down to the trench that I'm standing in for the wire to come up into this wire. There, just like that. Where do you go with that? Luca? Come here. Where are you going with that? Hey, come here. Can I give? Thank you. All right, I got that outlet on that side by the tree done. And I just got all the connections made in this junction box. So power comes in, goes up to this outlet and switch here, and then back down all the way across the yard to the Christmas light outlet area. I can dry it in using this cover. And this project is pretty much then complete. Last thing to do is just turn the power back on and wait for the sun to go down. One thing I did do is I picked up a Leviton. I got a Leviton Wi-Fi switch, smart switch, and it goes through the My Leviton app. And then through the My Leviton app, I've got it connected through Google Home. So then I could be in the house, or I could be getting in the hot tub and say, hey Google, turn off the yard light. And it'll turn off the yard light. And then say, hey Google, turn on the yard light. And it'll turn on the yard light. So I've already tested it, it works awesome. Really nice. I don't have to come out here and actually physically turn the light switch off. I can turn it off from in the house. And then when we're done in the hot tub, turn it back on. I've got power, got the yard light pulled and moved. Next spring, we'll pick it up where we left off. We'll be trenching new power from over there to right where I'm at about. I'm gonna run a 10-3 wire so that we have enough power for the shed, 30 amps of power. And yeah, that's it. I do want to finish up also by giving a little disclaimer. I'm not an expert in electrical. I just know kind of what I'm doing. I know the ins and outs. If you don't feel comfortable with any electrical in your house, don't do it. Don't attempt it. It's very dangerous. Hire a professional. I'm just showing you what I did. May be right, may be wrong.